All right, time for the DC half. Um, First comic of the night, we have Action Comics number 997. This is done by Dan Jurgens, Brett Booth, Norm Rapman, Andrew Dollhouse. So in this issue, you see Superman and Booster fighting the Zod family. A heck of a lot more. There's all kinds of action and just chaos and fighting and insanity in this comic. You see Lois Lane save her father. Uh, the father meets Jonathan, and Jonathan has to pretend to not have powers because Dad doesn't know who Superman is because he's in the military and would sell him the flip out. So that happens. They escape. Superman and Booster are going to be publicly executed. A little bit. And that's how the Zod family basically keeps order. They realize that this planet they're on, these people are not forced slaves. They're worshipping them like gods. So that adds a layer of complication because nobody really wants to help them locally. They leave it on this weird cliffhanger of them being assaulted with like laser beams and energy, but Booster Gold's shield is still going. Wow, I forgot what the word was for that for a minute. So you see them in a protective force bubble, not dying. You see, yeah, that's how it ends for them. You just don't see them again this whole issue. And then Jonathan, Lois Lane, and her father are running through the forest trying to get away from these gorillas, essentially. And they get seen by the locals, and the locals open fire, and it ends with one of these kind of cliffhangers. Where you see all three of them with bullet wounds in them, and they're bleeding on the ground, dying. And we all know dang well Lois Lane's not going to die. We all know John's not going to die. And that would be really stupid to kill off the grandpa right here, just for no reason without explaining this backstory at all. So, like I said, this whole book just ended cliffhanger, 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 cliffhanger. And, yeah, I kind of think they're just stalling it out for issue 1000 at this point. And that's okay sometimes. It happens, I understand. So, Action Comics not the best of this week, but I'm not going to complain or cry or throw a fit at all by any stretch of the imagination, because, issue 1000's coming, and they got to pace it right for that to be successful. So, again, it's a business. It happens. Oh well. That is Batgirl and the Birds of Prey, number 19. This is by Julie and Shauna Benson, Raj Antonio, and Marcelo Malio. Wow. So this issue, you see Batgirl Oracle using a supervillain's network against him. She basically steals his customer list, and they just start going down the customer list, taking him out. And immediately I'm like, man, this never works out. This always goes bad when good guys try to do something like this. And sure enough, what happens? They walk into a trap. And this thing is pissed. It's a robot, and it's pissed that Batgirl and Oracle are trashing this organization that the bad guy calculator is running. And it was like, you misunderstand. We're bringing this battle home. We're taking this where it hurts. And one of their non-super powered friends, this guy's just a hacker that was a bad guy, but they kind of rehabilitated him, and he's become a really close friend of the Birds of Prey. Gus gets killed. This thing just murders Gus. And that causes some turmoil and some strife among the Birds of Prey, because now they're a little conflicted. Batgirl botched it and got this guy killed because of how she handled technology and everything, and she's beating herself up over it. The other two were got a chip on their shoulder. Huntress and Black Canary are not really thrilled with her on this because their buddy's dead, and they're kind of they're in a weird position now where it's like, man, we stepped over a line essentially. And then Batgirl decides that Oracle is just too much and pulls out a hard drive and shatters it, and now gets rid of Oracle again. So Batgirl and Oracle are like like a drug addiction. It's on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again. So we'll see how long it takes before she's Oracle again. This comic is definitely more adult and normalized than the Batgirl comic, which is now kind of been watered down to a teen level, which has pissed off a crap load of people I know. So if you want to read Batgirl, but you don't want like an obvious teen book, here you go. All right. Dark Knight Rising: The Wild Hunt. This is a tie-in one-shot issue for the Metal series. This is done by a host of people: Grant Morrison, Scott Snyder, James Tynion IV, Joshua Williamson, Howard Porter, George Jimenez, like, just tons. I mean, the creative team of dreams in a lot of ways. This issue is insane. I gotta go through it quick because there's so much. You see Detective Chimp, a little bit of his origin, kind of where he's at right now, helping this organization on Earth figure out why everything's going to hell. You see Cyborg, Raven, Flash in this spaceship that can fly between realities and like the creases between them, being chased by the Man Who Laughs and all the other superpowered Batman nonsense. The good guys are like, we got a plan, here's what we're going to do. They successfully pull off the plan, only to realize that they've been had and did exactly what the bad guys want, because the Man Who Laughs is Bruce Wayne. This is Bruce, but he also is infected with the Joker virus, essentially. So he's as intelligent as Bruce Wayne. He knows all their weaknesses, he knows how they think, he knows how they operate, he knows everything. He's Bruce Wayne. But he's insane and nuts and dark. So yeah, that's how he's able to perfectly just lead them. Like, this is the plan, this is going to work, here he goes, we're successful! And you did exactly what the bad guys wanted. So, yeah, it's been really cool. That this one shot, basically what you get from it is there's a 53rd multiverse, and in this 53rd multiverse, everybody's a monkey. Because that's how DC works. They make a rule, and then the next event they break the rule. So they can make another rule, and the next event they can break the rule. And that's okay, because it's been just fine. We're going on because Metal has been amazing. The hardbacks and collected of these are coming out, I think, it's summer. So for those people interested, I highly recommend going into your bookstores and finding the collected versions of these if you missed this one, because it's been so good. All right. Detective Comics 974. This is done by James Tynion IV, Felipe Brios, Alan Passau. Oh, God, I'm so bad. I'm sorry. And the last issue, Clayface was shot with a special bullet by Batwoman, of all people, that killed him. It just broke down his cells and killed him. They verify Clayface is dead. Everybody's very upset with Batwoman for this, obviously. She takes the perspective of there was no other way to stop him. It was kill one guy or let the city get destroyed and thousands of people get injured and killed. Wasn't a decision for her. And they're like, we're good guys, we're better than that, we don't kill people. She gets shamed a little bit with her bat ripped off her chest and sent away, basically like, you need to go get your crap together. Robin's little girlfriend realizes things have gone too far, and she leaves him. So Robin has a very sad little breakdown moment. Batman approaches him. He calls out that he's becoming this other Robin from the future who was a bad guy, essentially. And Batman and him are kind of having a heart-to-heart. So the whole team's falling apart, literally falling apart. In the end of the comic, you see Batwoman with her military father, which is never a good thing. And he's like, yeah, whatever, you tried, you suck, it's okay, we love you anyways. Why don't you join my team? So now Batwoman's going to be a villain, working with the colony. But wait, there's more. It ends with another glimmer of Ulysses Armstrong, who's this, like, psycho fanatic who thinks he knows everything and has been worked with the colony until he overstepped even their lines and got thrown out. So that shows you how extreme this kid is. That the government military was willing to kill thousands of people thousands of innocent Americans to get their objective accomplished. Thought this kid was too extreme. Yeah, so there's some bad news coming for the Detective Comics team because they just lost like half their team, and the bad guys are gearing up for more. So, yay! Comic books are amazing like that. That's how it works. Alright, next we got Hal Jordan, Green Lantern Corps, issue number 38. This is written by, sorry guys, Robert Venditti, Ethan Van Sciver, Jason Wright. You see in this issue, Hal Jordan and Kyle Rayner got captured last time by the Zod family. The Zod family removed their rings. They boast and brag and get all cocky and arrogant with the lanterns. Hal's like, you don't understand, my ring's not like the other rings. My ring is forged from my will. It wasn't forged by somebody else. Manages to force his ring free in a glorious moment because the Eradicator's there. And he's like, what is going on? What is going on? And the ring takes him out when it busts through the box. And Hal forces his ring to cover Kyle Rayner, despite Kyle's objections, and send Kyle back to the home planet for the Green Lanterns. And when he shows up, they're like, oh, here comes Hal, but Kyle's not with him. Oh no. It is Kyle. Hal's not with him, because Hal stayed behind powerless, essentially, on this insane planet with a bunch of people trying to kill him, and the natives and Zod and his family trying to kill him, and now he's got no ring. So Hal's a cocky SOB, that is for sure. And yeah, I'm loving these Green Lanterns because they're slugfest comics, and it's been really, really cool. Red Hood and the Outlaws, number 19 is the next comic we got coming tonight. This is by Scott Lobdell, Marcos DeCara, Rob Schweschinger, and Felix Serrano. This one's pretty short and sweet, to the point tonight. Artemis and Jason go on a date. She gets all dressed up. She takes him out. They go having all kinds of fun. Bizarro is mentally breaking down, as we've established. Artemis is leading Jason on, and Jason's like, wow, she kind of started to think like this might be a real date, even though he's trying to resist it, and the whole thing's very, very awkward, but humorous and funny and enjoyable. And then they get to somewhere where Bizarro can't see them. Like, they go to the Batcave, where it's a tech blackout, and they start using a whiteboard and writing messages back and forth, and Artemis calls out, there's something wrong with Bizarro, and Jason's like, oh, I thought it was just me. Yeah, I guess you're right. So they're figuring out that Bizarro's got something going on. You see two Bizarros at one point in this comic. They don't even address that that's not normal. So I don't, did he clone himself? Because they're talking about how he did something that he shouldn't have done. And he's talking about how he did something he shouldn't have done. And this like mystery surrounding Bizarro right now is starting to build and develop. And it's been really, really cool. Because, yeah, like I said, this is my favorite comic out of Rebirth right now. It's not the best. It's not the top tier. But personally, I enjoy reading this particular comic more than dang near anything else right now. Just because it's always fun and interesting and cool. So, Red Hood and the Outlaws has been way better than it was in the past. By miles and leaps and bounds. Another issue number 1 from the Age of Heroes, Sideways. And again, this has got one of those super crazy, cool fold-out covers. I think I'm buying these more than anything for the fold-out covers just because they're nifty. Anyways, this is done by Kenneth Rockford, Dan Diddy, Justin Jordan. Man, there's all kinds of people on here. There's a long creative list for this one. Okay, so I love Spider-Man, but I hate high school Peter Parker. He's just annoying. It's high school Peter Parker. You see this kid teleporting around, hassling his friends, doing high school kid crap. He decides that he's going to be a superhero who streams all his junk on, like, YouTube, essentially live. being, you know, one of those, like, I'm going to be famous from the internet and go viral and all this nonsense. And anybody who's read the preview for this or has seen, like, the packets they're dropping as a freebie, it ends with this celestial-looking intergalactic being showing up saying, your powers are jacking things up and you have to die. Like I said, I just... High School Peter Parker drove me nuts, and they're literally trying to copy awkward, socially weird High School Peter Parker, and I can't do it. I can't read this comic. So, if you liked that, you will probably love this. I just personally have a problem with it, and that's what it reminded me of, and adult Peter Parker is where it's at. Alright, almost done here. Got this one and one more. Wonder Woman number 40. It's done by James Robinson, Manuel Lupacchino, and Carmen Gennaro. Last issue, you saw it with the cliffhanger, the bad guy, Wonder Woman, and the brother all falling out of the sky simultaneously to their death, it seemed. No one died. The brother, his throat was slashed, but it wasn't deep enough to do any real damage. They have accelerated healing. He pulled through. The bad guy is gone. They find out the bad guy went to a hospital and just mercilessly killed tons of people, trying to, like, leave a trail. The brother realizes he's not cut out for the superhero thing and goes back to the house that they're sharing currently. Wonder Woman confronts the bad guy, who, like I said, mind you, I think this bad guy looks awesome. You know, it's trying to be more of an emotional character, sort of a physical powerhouse, but I think she just looks great. Her and Wonder Woman duke it out. They fight a ton. Well, the bad guy tries to kill the brother. She realizes if she kills the brother, that'll hurt Wonder Woman more than actually hurting Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman shows up. They fight. They go back and forth. There's a nice long action sequence, many, many pages, of them just duking it out. And Wonder Woman basically beats this thing by drowning her. She drowns her, and all the nanites that are giving her these powers and doing this stuff, because mind you, this is a cripple girl originally, they all die. They get drowned. She saves the girl by drowning her, which I thought was a fun little twist. The brother realizes he can't do this and leaves this, like, nice, beautiful note. Like, I'm leaving, goodbye, don't bother looking for me, I need to figure out my life. And conveniently, as he does that and leaves, he gets kidnapped. By who? By what? I don't know. They don't explain that. So it just shows the last panel, Wonder Woman looking kind of sad, beat down. This friend that she'd made went insane and tried to kill her. Her brother didn't pan out and left, and she's just kind of lost. They ended that arc well. They didn't really change anything, but they definitely had something happen. It was just fun. It was cool. I liked it. Last comic of the night, Scooby-Doo Apocalypse number 22. This is done by Andy Owens, Hi-Fi, Travis Lehan, Carlos Donata. Yeah. Oh, written by Keith Griffin, sorry. So, this was fun. We have Daphne and Fred trying to search through this mall that they decide they're going to hunker down in. And they see a bunch of people's in mirrors, shirts, and CJ Nickel. Some bad parodies here. And there's a bunch of these monsters wearing affiliate clothes of each of these, and they find out that they are shoppers who mutated and are having a war forever in the mall. And they're going back and forth, and they're killing each other, and it's pretty gruesome. And Velma and Shaggy get into the mall. They all kind of meet up. They decide that they're going to let these monsters kill themselves off and then take over the mall after the monsters have killed themselves off. And that's their brilliant plan. Is a mall surrounded by monsters, full of monsters, with monsters in the basement. They're going to clean the monsters in the upstairs out and just hunker down and hide. Brilliant plan. And that was kind of it. It was more than anything just kind of a silly issue explaining them all, and there's a lot of dialogue, because this comic has a lot of dialogue. And yeah, it was just cool. Secret Squirrel progressed a little bit more. You saw the bad guy who's supposed to kill him, and some slight humor that didn't really move much. I don't know. It was kind of a weird issue this time for both the main and the backup. They just kind of were there. They pushed the story along, but nothing amazing happened. But at the same time, they weren't like a flat disappointment. So, just another moderate week, I suppose. Alright, so that wraps up the DC half of the night's episode. Want to thank you guys all very, very much for your participation, helping me out with this. I hope you are enjoying what I'm doing at the very least. See you guys in a couple days with another pull list, and next week with another episode. Thank you guys much, and have a good one.